ran a literacy program in school districts that included Waltham, Billerica, Boston, Cambridge, and Chelsea.
So you've been around.
I've been in a lot of school systems, yeah.
What do you think of, overall, what do you think of Newton schools?
I think overall we're starting with something that's really good. I think there's a lot of room for improvement as well. And I come to this with great enthusiasm for helping to spread what's good and bring other ideas into play that could make our schools even better.
Yeah. What do you think of Jeff Epstein's math, science, and technology programs? Are you...
I'm extremely supportive. In fact, one of my master's degrees is in teaching elementary math, science, and technology. And so I get really excited about the idea of strengthening what we offer kids in that area.
What do you think about this Pleasant School Committee hiring a superintendent?
I hope, and I'd like to participate in hiring a superintendent who is a real leader and can unite our community.
Well, I think that they should wait for the new school committee.
I think that the decision won't be made until there's a new school committee in place.
Oh, is that right?
I think the process is the process is underway.
What would you look for in a superintendent?
I'd like a superintendent who would be out there in the classrooms, visiting, able to go in and say to a first grader, hey, what are you learning and why are you learning it? And then go back to the teachers and talk to them about how our district's going to focus on improving math instruction, for example, because that's an area where there are weaknesses. And then make sure that the principals understand what the focus is and the community understands. And if the focus is really clear, then the superintendent can unite the community around improving in specific areas with goals and a timeline.
What is the school budget now?
$166 million.
And is there a proposal to raise it every 6% every year?
The way our system is structured, in order to maintain the current level of services, you have to have 6% revenue increase, which we don't have, which is why in the 09 budget they cut 40 teachers, which is why class sizes are going up, which is why I got motivated to try to help.
Yeah, so what can you do about that? I mean, we can't afford it, can we?
No.
So what do we do?
Well, I believe you need to sit down with the teachers union and the school committee and figure out that you've got these common goals. You know, the teachers don't want class sizes to go up either. The parents don't want it. Nobody wants to cut positions. So you need to figure out how to say, here's the revenue we have. Let's make the built-in increases match. So I know health insurance is one thing that's gone up 10%, and that's been one of the issues. I know other districts have the split slightly differently than what we do in Newton. Instead of the 80%, 20%, it might be slightly different. But I know that teachers would be happy to do things like that if you figure out what else would work for all of us.
You know, one thing that's always concerned me is, what do the unions contribute as far as a better school system? I mean, for an example, you say the school teachers more involved. The unions won't let them.
Yeah, I mean, one example of something that I think the superintendent could bring is saying, look, let's put in the teacher contract, for example, and this is where being an educator would allow me to help the school committee to understand things like this. You could put in that the principal can meet with the teachers, you know, their early release days, and currently the principals can only meet with their teachers because of the contract once a month. To have their whole staff.
That's ridiculous.
Right, and in order to get the staff to...
That is so ridiculous.
But that's something that I think I'd be excited to work on. So things like, I mean, the contract's, you know, 100 and some odd pages, but that's one example.
I think the teachers' union puts a lot of pressure on the school committee and teachers and the mayor. I mean, a lot of pressure. Is there any way you can write a contract that they mind the MYOB, get out of the negotiations, or take a little bit of consideration for the children?
I think that there's common ground. I think really everybody wants the same thing. You know, we all want to do the best we can for the kids. That's why everyone's in it. So maybe I'm idealistic, but that's what I believe.
You are, and that's one of the things I like about you, but you got common sense.
Thanks.
See, there's too many ideologues in this city, but with no common sense. You've got common sense.
Thank you.
And I think that's going to be an advantage. By the way,
Yeah.
who is this guy? This is the guy you're running against his wife?
Yes.
What's he doing holding a sign of yours?
You know, he's actually holding his wife's sign. It's just that we were at the Harvest Fair. We were next to each other. So,
Oh, you're running against Claire Sokoloff.
yes.
That's her sign there. Oh,
Yeah.
God. That's deceiving, isn't it? Look at this picture, folks. This is funny. I recognized him right away.
Yeah.
He's very popular in the city. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Okay. I was going to say that he'd endorse you. No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't endorsed me, but
It's his
very
wife's running-
cordial.
Okay, I'm
So,
sorry
yeah.
for bringing it up. But anyway, so listen, we got some problems in the grammar schools. Anger, Cabot. You mentioned something earlier that you were concerned about the new plan.
Well, there's a long-range facilities plan on the table. As you say, Ainger, Zervis, Cabot, and Ward are the 4 schools that have been identified as having the most challenges with their facilities. And the plan provides for building new school buildings that would accommodate 500 students. And having worked in a school as an assistant principal where I could greet every child by name, I know how important it is to have a smaller school. So I'm not sure that we should be aiming for 500 kids when that's not optimal for an elementary school.
What if you had 500 kids with more teachers?
Well,
You said that you had 20 kids.
Right, but you'd still have one principal unless you're planning to allocate money for an assistant principal, and you'd still have to think about issues like, can you have a whole school assembly where the principal can speak to everyone at once, or would you not have an auditorium that could accommodate that many kids? And those are the kind of issues that I believe I would be helpful in bringing up on the school committee.
What if the school was designed to accommodate 500 students?
It's possible, but it's still not optimal. I actually have a few studies that have shown, and I was reading through them, that smaller schools lead to increased student achievement. Or there's a correlation. Not necessarily one leads to the other, but at this point it looks as though smaller schools are more optimal for student learning.
Well, it makes sense, but can they afford them? So if you're building 4, and now you're talking about building 6 or 8, can the city of Newton afford that?
Well, I think there's creative ways to think about it. I mean, the other idea is your facility could be built for 500, but maybe there are 2 smaller schools within it of 250 and 250. You know, there are lots of creative things we're not thinking about. Even with the class size issue, you know, we don't do multi-grade classes, for example, like a first, second combined or a third, fourth combined, which is another way that you can use this same number of teachers, but use them differently.
Does that work?
It does. You have to have teachers, and starts with the superintendent, goes to the principal, then to the teachers who value meeting and know how to meet every child where they're at. So, you know, when your 3rd, 4th graders are doing math, you would want to differentiate and teach the 4th graders what they need to learn.
You know, another thing that I liked, and I forget exactly who was talking about it, but about re-educating the teachers, bringing them up to today's philosophy and teaching. In other words, how do you feel about that?
I think it's really important to keep professional learning communities vibrant within each school. So give teachers the opportunity to be learning new things, new ways to reach their students, sharing what they're doing that's working. I developed a system of peer observations when I was in Cambridge, where the teachers would observe each other and give them feedback on something that we were working on. So that's something that could happen to help. But yeah, I absolutely think that's
Now,
important.
would the union go along with something like that?
I don't see why not. And in fact, it's happening in some schools. I think in Underwood,
Yeah.
one of the elementary schools already does that.